One of the unique aspects of the Christchurch shooting is the lack of mystery. This isn't a case like Las Vegas, where, at least as far as official investigations are concerned, we'll never know why. In this case, we know exactly why, and what the attacker hoped to provoke. It's written explicitly. He says, "I want to prompt the left to attempt to abolish rights, and this will result in dramatic political polarization, and ultimately, with a civil war, a conflict toward which he wants to accelerate." And then frustratingly, prominent politicians and media figures all get in line to follow his plan as though they're obeying instructions. New Zealand's already restrictive gun laws, not restrictive enough. We gotta disarm everyone and just have faith that the bad guys will surely do the same. And of course, advocacy groups in the US are making the same push. Free speech, ooh boy, that's a big problem too. We gotta ban those websites where all the Nazis are talking. Gab's Dissenter, BitChute, Archive.is, 4chan, 8chan, LiveLeak. There are even reports of prosecution for possessing or distributing video of the incident, with at least one young man arrested. The list goes on, and the pressure assuredly will be applied to the bigger online players as well. Players that'll include the website on which you're likely watching this video now, YouTube. Remember Becca Lewis, the cat lady who wrote that Data and Society Alternative Influence Network report with the Nazi spiderweb? She's drinking extra box wine while she binge watches Friends tonight, taking a victory lap quoted in this NBC News article saying, "I told you so. Oh, if only YouTube had listened to me, we would have avoided this whole thing. Once we replace YouTube with BeccaTube, everyone will be safe then. Trust me, we can and we will ban our way out of this because deplatforming works." And she used the clap hand emojis, I'm afraid, which of course automatically invalidates any rebuttal. It is amazing to me that these people are looking at the world and thinking, geez, there sure is a lot of civil unrest out there. What are we going to do about it? I got it. Start curtailing fundamental rights. That'll calm them down. People love being silenced and disarmed. Becca Lewis and her censorship squad are not a path to peace. They're a path to conflict and destruction. Their efforts to control everybody will escalate tensions, not de-escalate. And it's getting harder for me to believe that they're simply confused or naive in their worldview. They're likely well aware of this trajectory, so I can see why people become pessimistic and defeatist as their influence grows, at least among circles of people with power. And there was another example of lobbying for this same sort of iron-fisted tech crackdown last week, but I didn't have time to discuss it amid all the other news. Susan WikiWiki, or whatever her name is, the lady who runs YouTube and who assuredly will be under increasing pressure to keep cracking down on the ever-expanding realm of so-called extremist content on her website, she took questions with Recode's Kara Swisher at the Lesbians Who Tech conference in San Francisco, which at first I thought was a terrible event name, until I tried to come up with a better one. Dykes Who Type? No. Hoes Who Code? Or Mams Who Program? Screw it. Lesbians Who Tech it is. It's queer, inclusive, and badass. I'll let you be the judge. So anyway, they're badassing it up on stage to discuss how anything bad that happens is naturally the fault of the internet.
It's really a difficult time for Silicon Valley right now. And I want to talk about some big issues about where YouTube is, where Google is, and the culpability of tech in the disaster that we find ourselves in. So that's right.
Remember, this discussion took place before the Christchurch shooting, so she's not speaking specifically about that, but the reasoning is so silly. In what other context would we say a communication method is culpable for the wrongdoing of a user? Is the poster board company culpable for those Westboro Baptist signs? Was the post office culpable for the Unabomber? Was Morse code culpable for Pearl Harbor? Were boats culpable when the British were coming? Is Recode culpable for me having to listen to such nonsense? Who knows? But Kara has a bone to pick with Susan. You see, it's Susan's fault that Kara's son has seen some mainstream conservative political commentary on YouTube. And damn it, Susan, he even liked it a little bit.
I'll get to recommendations. I have a personal beef with you about that.
Okay. I can't wait to hear.
My son, who's 13 years old, started watching Ben Shapiro videos. And he's like the gateway drug to the next group. And then it goes right to Jordan Peterson, then it goes down, and in 3 clicks, he was at neo-Nazi stuff. It was like astonishing, and then I had to listen to it at dinner.
Whoa, no way. PewDiePie had the exact same experience. as a joke.
All right, so if you're watching Jordan Peterson, next you're watching Dave Rubin, and then you're going over to Roaming Millennial, and then bam, you're into the Nazis.
Well, there's only one solution. We have to kill Susan. Jokingly, of course. The exact type of joke that Kara wants scrubbed from the internet, but I digress.
And I was sort of like, I'm going to kill Susan Wojcicki first.
Okay,
and then,
here I am.
But it was sort of like, I was sort of like, is there anything, like, it feels like, as I said, I think you've heard me say this, it feels like all you tech companies have built cities, these beautiful cities, but you decided not to initially put in police, fire, garbage, street signs, and stuff like that. And so it feels like the purge every night.
No, it's more like you built your own home without child safety features, and you're blaming everybody else for it. That's your fault, Kara, not Susan's. It's not Susan's job to police the internet on behalf of your parenting sensibilities. It's your job to do that parenting yourself in your own home. And we know you can, after all. You're a lesbian who techs, right? Or are we supposed to believe that you're a tech website editor who's so incompetent she can't even filter content for her own kid?
And then I've got like this kid who's like, well, Ben Shapiro's sort of smart. I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not even slightly. He's clever, but he's an idiot. And anyway, it's just like, it's exhausting.
Tell you what, substitute Ben for Susan at next year's conference and show us all just how big of an idiot he really is. I'll buy whatever VIP ticket package I have to get a front row seat. I'll buy popcorn for the entire audience, and you can show us all just how badass and inclusive you really are by actually discussing with someone who disagrees with you. Do that and you can take my money, but I'm not holding my breath because Kara's got a better plan than engaging and challenging ideas she doesn't like. Just ban them.
There's a set of content that has to meet the community guidelines. Ben Shapiro is going to meet the community guidelines. So I don't think you're suggesting that we remove him from the platform, are you?
I would, but I can't. No,
Okay,
no.
okay.
But you know,
Okay.
last time I saw you, I was like, get Alex Jones off that platform. And you're like, well, the community guidelines. And then you got him
Now
off.
he's not on the platform.
I know, so I was right, but that's enough.
Oh yeah, Kara, you were so right. The people you target with your censorship crystal ball never ever succeed. Which is why the second and third most popular Joe Rogan episodes ever made with tens of millions of YouTube views are Ben Shapiro and Alex Jones. Oh, and don't forget the fifth most popular is also Alex Jones. The point is, playing internet whack-a-mole with these guys increases their public profile. It increases public intrigue for them. I never much cared about Alex Jones personally, but I do now since he's internet censorship target #1. But more importantly, and returning to the premise that we started with, marginalizing these people does not defeat them or their ideas. It only gives them more credibility and more legitimacy since you're making them the target that they claim to be. You try to deperson these people to the darkest corners of social ostracism, and then you're shocked when you see drastic measures in response. If you want cooler heads and moderation to prevail, or at least discussion over violence to prevail, maybe let's ditch the blindfolds and the gags. Maybe let's try more speech, not less speech. For once, you increase censorship and then you say, whoa, extremism is on the rise. And then you increase censorship even more. And you never once stop to say, hey, wait, maybe silencing people isn't actually a moderating force. Maybe we have it backwards. Yeah, good luck with that. It looks like it's making everything much worse, not better. And besides, I don't know why you expect us to trust you to mom the entire internet. By your own admission, you can't even mom your own home effectively. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel always. Appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below and especially over on Twitter. That is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to coming out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Goodbye.